Mike, we did the same thing at the same
Did
time.
it. I'm so excited for Essen, man.
It's Essen.
It's time to talk about what, for our money, are probably going to be the best games of the year.
Probably. What's up, everybody? My name is Nick.
I'm Mike.
We are the Brothers Murph, and we are talking about our most anticipated games at Essen Spiele 2025. If you're watching this for some reason in 2086.
That's not the games are
this
good.
Is let us know if they were good.
We haven't played them.
Exactly. So these are our most anticipated games at Essen. Unfortunately, we're not going to Essen. We still haven't been. Every year we tell ourselves we're going to go.
It's going to happen, man.
And then we don't. But someday we will. But we tend to like bigger, medium to heavier weight Euro games. That's when most of these games come out, is at Essen. And we're so excited to try out some of these games.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about our most anticipated Essen releases.
So a lot of times when you're going with anticipation, you're going off of looks, you're judging books by their cover, and Emberheart is one that has a really nice cover. This is a game with Andrew Bosley art, which is always a nice thing to have. And this is a game where you are kind of rescuing, protecting, training dragons, and kind of pushing against these poachers that are coming to try to take them out. You're trying to protect the last of the dragons. It's just a cool setting for a game. You know, a lot of people, and myself included, are fans of like, you know, How to Train Your Dragon and those movies and stuff like that. So it kind of feels like almost like a little bit in that world as you're kind of going around and using your workers, again, to train, rescue stuff, kind of build fortifications, go and fight and things like that. I think it'll be really cool. It's from Mindclash Games, and I really enjoy the games they make, so I'm really curious to see kind of, you know, how big of a game this is. I think that's gonna be kind of cool, and again, with the Andrew Bosley art, it should be a world that's kind of really lush and one that I want to spend time in.
Number 9 is going to be Garden Lake. I know you're thinking another Uwe Rosenberg polyomino tile laying game. Yes, and I'm still down. Garden Lake is kind of like a koi pond kind of thing, kind of theme to it. And you're going to have these kind of polyomino tiles around your board. And on your turn, you're going to get to choose one of the tiles. And it's kind of interesting the way it chooses, because you have your board and you have tiles kind of around your board like this. And you can either choose the rightmost tile of this kind of line of tiles, or the leftmost tile, or the closest tile that your neighbor has, or your closest tile that your neighbor has over here. So it's one of these, you can also use their tiles, and they're gonna be placing these tiles into the board. And then you're trying to mostly get certain groups together, but you're also trying to bonus things and combo things together. And a lot of ways is seemingly, we haven't played this game, seemingly how you're gonna do that is by creating columns and rows. When you have a full row that's completely filled in, you will get to activate kind of a bonus at the edge of that. That could be more tiles, it could be a couple different things. And I don't know, I like games like that. I really like polyomino style games. I know there's a bunch of them now, but I just always find them intriguing. I really like the look of this one. I like the idea of making kind of a lake or a pond. I think it's really pretty. And yeah, it's another Uwe Rosenberg tile laying game, and I'm still kind of just, I'm still down, and I really want to try Garden Lake.
Next up is going to be Deckers. This is a game where you are hackers working cooperatively to try to kind of hack into this supercomputer, which is the game itself kind of pushing up against you and trying to stop you. You're doing this through card play, and it's kind of a thing where when you hack into the system, you are taking on a certain identity. And that is going to give you different abilities and boons and stuff like that. And so this is just one that's kind of a sci-fi, cyberpunky world where I really like that as you're hacking in, you know, the persona of the whatever that you're hacking into will actually affect your gameplay as you're working together, trying to kind of move around on this board and stuff like that to overcome this kind of evil supercomputer in a time where AI is sort of blossoming and it's a sort of unknown world. It just feels kind of like a timely game where we're all fighting against like technology and stuff like that. So it's one that I just am really curious about and curious about the gameplay, but the sort of setting and premise is something that is really intriguing, and I just want to see how that ends up working mechanically.
Number 7 is going to be Skybridge. This is by Deep Print Gain and Pegasus Spiele working together again. And this is a combo of publishers that I will basically immediately buy anything from. They did Civolution last year, and actually this game I thought was like a Civolution expansion when I first saw it, because it's by Deep Print and Pegasus Spiele, and it has a very similar color palette, and actually just from a brief glance at the cover looks kind of like Civolution, even though it's not. But it's got that look. It's from those publishers. I'm immediately interested. But this is this interesting game where you're in this kind of like sphere. You're like in this kind of like hollow earth type. If you ever looked up hollow earth theory, look it up. It's nuts. It's kind of like flat earth theory, but wilder. But no, you're kind of like inside this like hollow sphere. And where you stand, which is on like the inside of the sphere, is like kind of barren and not very good and not very resource rich. But in the sky, there's like this big orb, this big kind of like planet looking thing that looks very lush and looks very like verdant and stuff. You're like, oh my gosh, it's all barren down here. If we can get up there, that'd be great. So what you're doing in the game is you're trying to build a big bridge to that planet or to that thing, that sphere in the sky, which is a very wild thing that I'm super down for. And you're doing this through like a lot of different card play. You're like, there's dice in the game, but it's going to be one of these kind of like bigger, heavier Euro games. I don't think quite as heavy as Civolution is what it kind of seems like, but kind of in line with that. And you're trying to work on this bridge throughout the game. There's like different factions in the games. It just seems very, very cool. But like I said, this is just one of those publisher combos that like, I'm immediately interested in what they do. I really like Deep Print games. They make some of my favorite games. I really love Civolution. I really love Beer and Bread. So they're a publisher that I'm immediately like, I'm probably gonna like that. And then pairing them with Pegasus Spiele, who's probably bringing it over to the United States, is kind of a match made in heaven. I really liked Civolution last year. Shout out to Aldi from Board Game Geek. Aldi's the one who showed us Civolution, and I freaking loved it. And so I'm really interested in Skybridge. The theme is super wild and super cool, and I'm very, very down.
Next up is going to be Ants. There's actually a couple of Ant things going on. There's a redo of March of the Ants. This is Ants from Cranio Creations, who make, again, kind of these larger board games. And so, a 90-minute board game about running a thriving ant colony and trying to take over the garden and be the dominant ants in the area is one that I'm like, okay, that's, if nothing else, with the board game, if you're making it, giving it an interesting, unique theme is going to make me kind of pay attention, try to see like, all right, I dig that. I dig ants. They're really interesting, the way they kind of structure everything. So in this game, you're going to be taking different actions. There's, I think, 6 main actions, which can be, going and exploring, incubating, making more ants, foraging and stuff like that as you kind of try to build up, strengthen up, and then sort of take over, with some area control stuff and things to boot. So this is one that I'm purely going off of theme. I'm like, okay, this is an interesting theme. Again, Cranio makes things like Barrage and Golem and things in these like kind of larger games. So I'm like, all right, what are we gonna do with this kind of game and this kind of theming? And is it gonna be this kind of big epic experience? Because a big epic experience with ants at the center of it, I think is a really kind of interesting thing. And ants are indeed pretty cool and deserve a big game like that.
Next up is going to be Ayar Children of the Sun. If you see this cover right here, you will notice that it looks a lot like 2 other games because it's kind of the third in a rough series, and this is going to be the series from Osprey Games that has Merv, Heart of the Silk Road, and Senkore, the Pride of Mansa Musa, which are also in this kind of series, although those 2 games, and I believe this one as well, do not play anything alike, but they're all kind of in the same universe, which is, I guess, is our universe. But nonetheless, they have the same look, and that's a look by Ian O'Toole. I think these covers are maybe the greatest covers ever made. I think they're the prettiest covers. Like, Ian O'Toole is already a revelation when it comes to art, but the art that he does in this series of game, I think is unmatched, which is really saying a lot considering how good some of the art is in all his games and other people's games. Just incredible. This is a game where you are in the Inca Empire, and you're kind of trying to build up, I think, Tuat and Suyu, which is another great game, unrelated to this game, but another great game that's very underrated. And you're gaining resources, you're doing different things. There's a couple different gods in the game that you're kind of trying to be on their side and appease them, but they're also very jealous, so you don't want to be against them. This is one of those games that, like, I really like this series. We really, really liked Merv, but Merv was a little, once you played it 3 or 4 times, you kind of seen the whole game. We really like Sankore, the Pride of Mansa Musa, which is a really incredible but big game, much, much bigger than Merv. And this one, Ayar Children of the Sun, seems to be kind of in the middle of the two of them, which is actually probably perfect, because Sankore is great, but it's very big, very heavy, lots of setup, lots going on, and Merv kind of didn't have the legs that we really wanted it to. So this one seems perfect. And then it's just got that really wonderful look. This is a game that, like, I don't know, this whole series I absolutely adore for the look alone. Osprey games make such good games, and this one just seems interesting. It's about the Inca Empire, which is super, super awesome and super interesting. And I don't know, these are those games where I'm like, well, they made a new one of these with, you know, Tool stuff. Okay, cool, we'll buy it. I'm down.
Next up is one that I've been excited for since they announced it, I think around a year ago. It's the White Castle Duel. So we are in kind of an era of 2-player versions of other games. The dual versions of games has been hot lately. And the White Castle is one of my favorite games from the last couple of years. I really, really love that game. And so I'm curious to see what they do with this one. Now, one thing that's interesting is the White Castle itself works really well at 2-player. And I know this is a different kind of game. It's more connected in theming and stuff like that. But I'm really curious, like, okay, what kind of heads up experience are going to give us? So in this version, Portugal has reached Japan and they've started opening up trade. So it's going to be a part of it. It's going to be trading with Portugal. You are kind of building out these influence cards and upgrading them to be able to do more things. You're still putting stuff out, and Himeji Castle sort of still at the center of the game, but I don't believe there's dice placement in this one, or at least not as much. There's these different kind of clan tokens you can put out. You're still kind of going into the gardens and into the fields to train like in the White Castle, but you know, with a 2-player game, I'm always curious about what ways do we create like a sort of tug of war, or, you know, how are we contending for certain spaces? How do we make this more of a heads up kind of battle type of thing? And that's gonna be what I'm really curious to see, because I love the White Castle so much. I hope this one also has a bunch of combinations and stuff you can chain together like in the White Castle. So this is just one that I really, really want to try based on how much I enjoy the first game.
Number 3 is going to be Sanctuary. This is kind of a smaller version of Ark Nova, seemingly, a tile-based version of Ark Nova. We really, really, really love Ark Nova. It's one of our favorite games, but one thing about Ark Nova is it is a big game. It's a very big game, sometimes a very long game, especially if you're playing it 3 or 4 players. And if you can give me kind of like a pared down version of Ark Nova, I'm very, very down with that. And that seems kind of what Sanctuary is. I do know that it's going to take out a lot of things from Ark Nova because it literally has to. Some people complain about that. They're like, well, it takes out these things. I'm like, well, it has to, or else it'll just be Ark Nova. But nonetheless, this is a tile-based game where the tiles are going to be your different animals, your different enclosures, your different sponsorship, things like that. And you have 4 action cards, kind of like you do in Ark Nova, except it's 4 instead of 5. One of them will allow you to put in projects and stuff, and the other 3 are going to allow you to put in different types of animals. I believe animals from different biomes is what it is. So you kind of have 3 animal action cards and then 1 project action card. And the strength of those action cards works how it does in Ark Nova, where kind of the longer it's in that line, if you do it farther to the right, it is then going to be a stronger action than if you do it kind of right away, and they'll kind of keep shifting through like that. I really, really like Ark Nova, but again, it is a humongoid game. And so having something quicker and easier to get to the table is always going to be good. I don't think anything a quicker version will ever replace Arc Nova for me. I haven't played it, so I can't say for sure. But I still think that's a very valid thing to have. I really, really am excited for this game. I really hope it's wonderful and that we like it, because if I can get more Arc Nova in my life, I am so okay with that.
Next up is going to be Feya's Swamp. Eric Martin did a video on this game and really liked it a lot. And you can see that right here on Board Game Geek. And that got me really kind of excited for this game, especially because one of the designers is one of the main people behind Terra Mystica and Gaia Project, which are games I really, really love. So with this one, I'm like, okay, we're now, you know, kind of amphibious creatures in a swamp. And we are placing out these tiles onto to kind of create islands in the swamp and stuff like that. We also have boats that we're kind of moving around to different shrines and things like that. We're going fishing and trying to deliver fish to other people's you know, settlements and things like that to gain benefits as well. And this is one that feels kind of like a Terra Mystica kind of game, because there's sort of 4 tracks where you can remove those settlements from. And as you invest into each one, they are sort of going to boost up a different aspect of your game. You might be able to become, you know, more efficient with your fishing. You might be able to move your boats around more and things like that. And so that kind of feels a little Terra Mystica, where as you uncover stuff, you're getting more kind of income or more abilities. And that's where I'm really excited to see, like, how much DNA from like those Terra Mystica games is there here, if much at all. And the kind of setting and the art and stuff is really kind of fun as well. So this is one that, especially after hearing Eric talk about it and kind of really enjoying it, it's got my expectation levels right up to about here.
Number 1 is going to be Orloj the Prague Astronomical Clock. Look at this cover. For that reason alone, I immediately went, cool, that's my most anticipated game from Essen. Yes, I am judging a game by its cover, but your cover is massive real estate. Don't tell me to not judge games by their cover, because it's important, dang it. I'm sorry, it is. And this game looks so cool. It seems like it's a big, heavy Euro game, which is also very much up our alley. And I am here for, we talked about Ayar Children of the Sun earlier, but like these kind of really big, really beautiful Euro games are just, they're my favorite games. And so Orloj here is based around the Prague Astronomical Clock, which is a real thing that you can see in Prague. It is this insanely huge, complicated clock that is all about telling time. First of all, it's a clock, but then it has all this like astrological stuff going on. It's immensely complicated. It's immensely beautiful. It's kind of, and it's been around for a very long time now, hundreds of years, if I remember correctly. And in this game, you are helping build that clock, and you're doing that. It's a worker placement game, I believe, and you are placing your workers out onto the clock, which you'll be gaining resources, doing actions, doing those kinds of things. I want to play it so badly. Oh my gosh. This is that game at Essen every year that I'm immediately just like, do I pay someone to buy it at Essen and then ship it to me? I shouldn't. That's a bad idea. That is going to be way too expensive, and I should just wait until it comes to the United States. But man, this is one of those games where I might be like, who do I know that's going to Essen, and can they bring this back? Because I might pay for it. I'm that excited about this game. I love the theme. I think it's such a cool theme that this is based on this real, very cool, very complicated clock. The look of it is so incredible. The cover is so incredible that if the gameplay is half as good as how it looks, it's going to be incredible. And I'm so excited for it. I just cannot really express how hyped I am for this game.
So those are 10 games that we're really excited for that are scheduled to come out at Essen.
I'm gonna buy them.
Yeah, there's a few in there that I'm like, I'm pretty sure we're gonna really love that game. Hopefully it's true, and hopefully get a chance to try these games soon. If you're going to Essen, tell us what you're excited to see in the comments below so all of us can get hyped. If you're curious what's going to be releasing at Essen, check out the Essen preview right here on Board Game Geek. They do it every year for all the major conventions, so you can keep up to date on what's going to be for demo, what's going to be for sale, so do check those out. And if you have played any of these games, please tell us how they are and if we should be excited for them or not. We don't know. Again, this is just an anticipation list.
Yeah, just guessing.
We will let you know as we play these if we were correct to anticipate them or not. In the meantime, all we got is hope.